Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again, State your name, big dope on flame. I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again. I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the fit lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming. Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again. Pump up the action, I'm active. If he never heard of Ben Dope, he just napping. Jackson's off the rapping, keep it on my body, bitch, I'm broke if you ask it. Don't gotta sell him, most Cialis flawless, broken whips as long as it is foreign. Heard you want it cause the yam's enormous. What's in since she isn't gorgeous? Live my life, last name a Morgan Freeman. Trying to touch a forest, do not know when knocking on the door is. Came in, I came in, did it like the Porsches. Coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again. Okay, alright. Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10, coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again, State your name, big dope on flame. I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again. I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the fit lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming. Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again. Pump up the action, I'm active. If he never heard of Ben Dope, he just napping. Jackson's off the rapping, keep it on my body, bitch, I'm broke if you ask it. Don't gotta sell him, most Cialis flawless, broken whips as long as it is foreign. Heard you want it cause the yam's enormous. What's in since she isn't gorgeous? Live my life, last name a Morgan Freeman. Trying to touch a forest, do not know when knocking on the door is. Came in, I came in, did it like the Porsches. Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again. Okay, alright. Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10,
Yo,
what's up, everybody? What's up?
Man, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a new day. You dig?
It is, man, it is. Byron, you're on mute, man. You're on mute.
My bad. You know, I thought I was in this, boy.
He was talking smooth and everything.
Hey, smooth. That boy leaned in on that mic. You hear me?
How was y'all day, man? Y'all had a good week this week or what, man?
You know what? I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I actually did have a good week. You know what I mean? I'm working on closing another deal, seller finance, you know what I mean, with a little nice 40K down. And that's gonna be a beautiful situation with a nice little residual cash flow of about $300 a month.
Is that one of new construction properties?
Yes, sir. No tenants, no toilets. Don't call me
No
for shit. I'm the
termites.
bank.
Hey,
Big bang.
I like
No,
it. I like it.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to be like Oneil when I grow up, man. That's
Hey,
it.
man, I like it, man. So what's the terms looking like?
So 9% interest. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh
Over
my
30
God.
years.
That's disgusting.
Prepayment penalty of 5% within the first 5 years. Got me fucked up.
Man, listen, man. I
Mark-
love it.
So you doing like a rap?
I'm doing a rap. Margaritas on me. You know what I'm saying? When we do that 40 bando at the end of the week.
Coming to H-Town. You gotta come to H-Town. I gotta catch a quick flight.
Yes, sir. I'm on a roll, man. You know, and this is my side business. A lot of people think this is like my main business. It's not really this is what I do for fun as a hobby on the side. It's not my main business.
What's your main business?
I wholesale real estate, man. That's my main business. You understand what I'm saying? But my side business is I like building properties, building stuff, man, and having fun. You know?
I like it, man. I like it. What's up, Asia? We miss you as well.
Absolutely.
Man.
What about
Listen,
you, B?
man, you know what? I'm gonna be open and transparent with the people, right? You know, I had a few wins, but I want to talk about a L. Man, it was a park that we really wanted in Harvey, Illinois, which is gonna be close to the house, but we ended up getting outbid, right? We came in 25,000 short, and they ended up taking somebody else offer, man. So one thing I want to tell everybody, you know, listen, you got to keep on shooting. That just made me hungry, and I'm about to go put 3 more offers in this week on some communities, man. So you know, listen, man, we got to eat them up, bro.
I like it, man. I like it. So you talking about your offer not getting accepted? My offer did get accepted on 15 units. So.
Ooh, let's
get
go.
it.
Hey, we're not gonna just act
with
like Oneil ain't got the clearest mic. He done stepped his mic game up to like a new level. We're not gonna just act like that ain't happening.
I was down for what? How many episodes? like 30.
Facts. Man, well, we got something special happening, man. We got something special happening.
We got some heat today, but real quick, man, real quick in the chat, I want you to let me know where you checking in from, and if you just came over from the Flipping with a Purpose and the Mobile Home Elite webinar, I want you to put them fire signs down. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, B, we got a special guest today, man. Y'all tell me when y'all ready to introduce the queen that we got on here today.
Bruh, I'm ready, man. Cause look, man, they finna get over. We're gonna overperform today, man.
Ooh, man, let's get it. Listen. We got a special treat for y'all. Like all my queens that's on here, listen. This queen, y'all, featured on Forbes. We talking about a real estate investor, certified financial education, right? That helps corporate women create the wealth that they looking for. So you see, leveraging corporate to freedom. Not only that, hold on, I'm not done turning up yet. The queen is part of, when I tell you, not even a duo, a sisterhood, right? Queens of North Carolina, right? What I love about these queens, man, listen, they've been featured on, let's see, hold on, let me show y'all real quick. They've been featured on Fox, NBC, CBS. They got a killer squad. The queen is killing it. Man, listen, y'all give it up for Andrel Harris.
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast.
How y'all doing?
Oh man, we
Thank you
blessed.
for having me.
Absolutely.
Oh,
How you feeling today, Queen? How you feeling?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm just excited to be here with you kings. You guys are doing some amazing things. So I'm super proud of you.
Doing all right. So we talked about our week. How was your week this week so far?
This week has been kind of hectic because the queens and I are geared up for our retreat that's going down in South Carolina. So that's this weekend. So I have back and forth things with that. I have a property that's in escrow now that I'm looking to close. And a lot of other little strange things going on. Overall, it's been a good week. Can't complain.
It's a blessing.
That's a blessing. We need to get deep down into your story though. So tell us about Andrel Harris. Introduce yourself to the Real Shit Real Estate Podcast, if you don't mind.
Sure. So, hey everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Andrel Harris. I am 1/4 of the real estate queens of North Carolina. let me see what else. When I say featured in Forbes, I just want you guys to know that I was featured in Forbes without a paid feature. So there are a lot of times where on the internet you can just get paid. I mean,
That
and you just
part.
being,
Oh,
Hey,
she said,
that
hold
part.
on, before we get
Call
to this
him
part,
out.
I didn't pay.
Yeah, so I kind of earned my way into that. I'll talk about that in a little bit, and that was before all of the paid features became popular. So that was part of my journey, and right now I help corporate women create wealth while working a 9 to 5. So I pretty much was looking for someone like myself in corporate America that was a boss on the outside, that was in real estate killing it, and I didn't find anyone to actually give me that direction. So I decided to be that person, right? So I wanted to be that face for the women, to let them know, hey, if you are holding down a corporate job and you want to get into real estate and you want that freedom, then I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to show you how to leverage your resources and things like that. So I became that person that I was looking for, pretty much, and just giving back to the ladies of the Creating Wealth Society, teaching them how to do the same thing. And so yeah, so that's just a brief introduction. You also mentioned certified financial educator. So I am a certified financial educator. Finance is like my first love. And real estate is something that I always wanted to tap into. So I'm just basically merging the two. And I'm all about teaching the women how to create wealth and managing that money.
Wow.
We gotta unpack this story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm
That's
ready.
super dope.
Hey, I got a confession to make.
Break
I
it
didn't know what corporate was until like 2 years ago.
Huh?
I had to Google it.
Like, what is this right here, man? What?
Because like people would say I work for corporate America. I was like, man, what the hell are they talking about?
You know, that was one big company.
But the definition is a company that has 500 employees or more, right? Or
You
no?
just put me on something.
Uh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or y'all don't know the definition.
No.
Oneil, so
O'Neal having a whole moment. He having a whole moment by himself right now.
So I'm not the only one though. It seems like y'all don't know the definition either.
Hey,
Also, but listen.
go ahead, B.
Nah, you got it. You got it.
So, Andrel, let me ask you this. You know, what I love, again, your story, like I said, diving into it. Talk about your first time being introduced to real estate, like, and what was that like, and what really was the driving factor to say, this is it. I want to get into real estate.
dang. So it actually started when I was going through a period of trying to figure out exactly how to get into real estate. This was back in 2006. Okay. So in 2006, I actually, I didn't know any other way to tap into real estate other than by going to school to be a real estate agent. So 2006, I went to a local community college here in Greensboro, North Carolina. And what ended up happening is when I was taking that course for my license, the instructor actually told me, he was like, hey, well, he told the class, I'm going to say, he was like, if you want to be an investor in real estate, you do not need your license. And he told the class that. And I think this is probably like the third week into class, or maybe the fourth week into class. And so once he said that, I was like, I don't want to be an agent. I just want to invest in real estate, right? So at that time, I really didn't know how to go about it, but I just knew that there was a way. So I discontinued the class. I no longer went to the community college. So after that, it was pretty much trying to figure out how to tap into real estate because YouTube wasn't prevalent. There was no Instagram, social media wasn't really talking about it. So what ended up happening is I was driving home one day and I heard a commercial on the internet. I'm not on the internet, on the radio, and they were talking about private money for real estate. This was like 2009. So fast forward from 2006 to 2009, I heard this infomercial. And so the infomercial was like, come learn how to secure private money with real estate. And they gave out the number. So I ended up calling the number. Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, call the number up. And I'm like, hey, I heard the commercial. Interested in, learning more about the private money. And so at that particular time, it was it was an older Caucasian guy. His name was Larry Ledford. So he was like, if you're serious about this class, then you're going to pay the investment. And so the investment was like $97. And I was just like, okay, I'm all for it. Got home, called up, gave him a credit card, and decided to go ahead and to this little town. I walked in, I was the only melanated person in the room.
Wow.
I was the youngest person.
Not a
I was
surprise.
the youngest
You
person.
was looking side to side.
Yeah, I was like, but to be honest, I was just like, you know what? I'm in the right room. And so when I got in that environment, they started talking about investing in real estate. It was talking about private money. And the guy that had the event, he was just like, he came to me. We took pictures afterwards because I'm in there with agents, flippers, everybody. So I took a picture. It's still on my Facebook page. I might have to post it as a throwback. But so I'm in between the older white guy and another white guy that I was like, hey, let's take a picture. And he was like, you know what? You're going to be very successful. You're going to be a millionaire, da, 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 da. And, I was asking questions. I was in there taking notes. And so at this point, with that seminar, we had opportunity to get like a one-on-one with him. And so my one-on-one with him, he was like, hey, I'm going to give you a key to all the HUD houses in North Carolina. He had like a master key. So back then there were no lock boxes and things like that. So he was like, I'm going to give you this master key to all the houses in North Carolina. And he was like, don't worry about it. If someone stops you, you just tell them you work for me. And that was it. So,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
That key still work.
I'm out here with a master key. I don't even have my key right here, but I still have it. It's a pink key. I got it pink. I got it made at Walmart. So in our conversation, he told me, he's like, hey, I'm also at the RIA. This was my first time hearing about the RIA, Triad RIA. This is 2009 going to 2010. So I'm like, okay, what is the RIA? And they was like, it's the local real estate investors association. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna plug into that. So fast forward, I end up plugging into the RIA 2010. At that time, Tony Robinson Sr. was the head of the RIA. So some of you guys may know Tony, the closer. His father was over the RIA when I attended back in 2010. I reached out to his father. I actually knew his father well before I even knew Tony. I actually met Tony a couple of years ago. But I went to Mr. Robinson and I was like, hey, can you mentor me? And he was just so busy lobbying on behalf of the investors in North Carolina on Capitol Hill, because at that time they were trying to shut down investors. So I was still in there networking. Came across a gentleman and, doing the networking hour. And the gentleman was like, I'm like, hey, what do you do? He was like, I wholesale real estate. So I'm like, what is that? And this was 2010. And he told me what it was. And he was like, yeah, I had a check for $5,000. I had my investor, I had my end buyer. I put them together and I got this. And I was like, you don't need a license? He was like, no. So I was like, yes. So now I'm going around the radio and I'm like, found a landlord. Okay, he's looking to Chris's property, which ended up was a flip, right? So I'm like, it's a property right here. I know it's the landlord, so I'm gonna call the landlord and tell him to come to the property with Chris and see how they could talk it out, and I can get my fee. So that's how I was trying to wholesale back in the day. And so I had the landlord come out, no contracts. No, I didn't even properly run my numbers as far as trying to figure out how much I should get. I'm just gonna tell him 5,000 on top of whatever he wants. So Chris is in the house. My landlord come in. The landlord's walking around. He's talking to Chris, but it was already fully done. And I'm trying to put it together. So y'all, when I left from there, the landlord was like, "Oh, that's a nice property." I was like, "Okay, so do you want it?" And he was like, I don't know. We'll see. And that was the end of that. So I did not have, like I said, didn't have the contract, didn't have the right numbers or anything. So I'm a very systematic person. If I don't have the direct step A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I don't know what to do. And I just pretty much put on a back burner. So that's how I kind of tapped in, knowing about the wholesaling part. I put it on the side. And then I started focusing more on my my personal finance journey. So I can go into that. And then I became a certified financial educator, started coaching to finances. And then I had to double back and then I can speed y'all up on that. But that was my first entry into the real estate part of it.
So
Man,
so
you got a
tell
lot. I got
yeah,
questions. Go
me
ahead,
too.
B.
So tell me this though. I want to know what happened to this deal though. So did you ever close this wholesale deal, or did you ever close another wholesale deal? What was that process like when you made that
It,
transition
I was,
piece?
I was, I was really just out there spinning my wheels, guys, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, I had the HUD key. I was just in and out of houses at that time for fun, just looking at them like, oh, this is a nice house. And I would put stuff on Facebook, but it was never like it was nothing solid. So I don't know what happened to that deal. I just don't know.
You know what was good about what you said was you was taking action. You didn't have all the information. So a lot of people don't take action these days without knowing everything. And that's how I started too. I didn't know everything. I just took action. I learned throughout the way. So I'm sure you learned a lot during that process, right?
I learned I learned a lot. Yeah. Then I ended up getting some contracts from some of the investors as I went back to the RIA. And they was like, here, take this agreement, things like that. So they start giving me and filling me in with some pieces that I was missing, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Um, but I never stuck to it because I'm like I said, it was no YouTube. And then fast forward a little bit, then YouTube start leaking out, and that's when I came across Nasser. I don't know how I connected with Nasser, but Nasir LRB.
One of them.
He,
She's
I'm gonna butcher his name. He gonna mess me up, but Nasser and I had connected on Facebook back then, and at the time, the real estate guru, he was on YouTube, but we were on Facebook before then. But I actually watched him evolve. So he was like one of the first people that I came in contact with that stayed on top of everything that was on YouTube.
You've been knowing him since the dread days.
Yes.
wow.
I want to go. I want to go back to something you said. It was really important. That a lot of people may be uncomfortable with. Not really uncomfortable with. You said you was in the right room. So talk about how being in the right room is important. Because I know it sounded like you was uncomfortable because you was the only melanated person in there. So can you
um
speak on that real quick about how important it is to be in
Sure.
the
I mean,
right?
I just knew, like, whenever there's an opportunity for me to tap into any type of event, I'm there, because I've always been interested in self development. So for me, it was just more so, what can I learn and what can I, take it back and teach others. So when I walked up into that, into that event, and as I'm looking around, and some of these people, like I said, they were older, and when I walked in, I'm like, oh, okay. So I just went in, I had my confidence with me. I had my bag, I had my notes, I asked questions. So the good thing is they didn't make me feel, any type of way. I know they was like, but other than that, they welcomed me there. They answered my questions, and I ended up forming it was like I ended up being in a mastermind with seven of those people from that event. So
Wow.
worked
Wow.
out.
I like it. I like it. Being in the right room at the right time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's super dope, right? Again, how you really went over your journey, like you said, being uncomfortable, getting in those rooms, and even the people you name, like you were able to see their growth and see their transformation. So I can imagine them seeing your growth and seeing your transformation in this as well. One thing kind of stuck out to me. You said you loved the self-help part. You love kind of going to the self. Can you talk about that mindset shift that really start preparing you to get to be in these rooms, and what was some of the things that you did to continue pouring in yourself for that self-help?
I've always considered myself, when it comes to education, and when it comes to evolving, I'm always plugged in. I guess I just been that way, been that type of person.
Nice.
So for me, I don't know. I really don't know where I get it from. I just always looked at things growing up like this. If this person has it, I can get it. And I pull inspiration from those type of people. So my responsibility was, okay, figure out how you can get these things, right? So I never been the envious type, always been highly inspired by people's success. Rags to riches, I absolutely love. So
Nice.
that pretty much did it for me. And I was just like, you know what? If they can do this, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna figure out a way to make this happen. And so with that comes, finding books to read. Like a lot of people have already mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad and things like that early on back in the day. So anytime I can evolve, I'm gonna, step out there and become educated. So
Wow.
Bars, bars.
Wow. That's dope. I like that. I like that. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of folk who all either they feel like they know everything, you feel what I'm saying, or they get in their own way and think that they don't need that piece, but that piece is super important. That self-development piece, because guess what? A lot of times when you get in them slumps, when you get knocked down, you
That's
pull
right.
your inspiration from a lot of
That's
those
it.
moments. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of
That's
those
it.
connections that you make. Hey, this real talk. You feel me?
Yes.
So you said something. So after the whole transition from real estate, getting networking, you got your financial services and your financial education piece knocked out. What was the journey from there, and how did you start to transition into leveraging your 9 to 5 and your entrepreneurial journey at the same time? Let's dig on that.
So good question. I've always considered myself good with numbers and finance. I've just been attracted to numbers. I can run numbers all day. So and I've always been money smart. I didn't have like crazy credit cards, anything like that coming out of back in the day. So now let me tell y'all how it really started. So when I was growing up, I watched my grandmother cut up credit cards, right? And she was just like, don't get into this trouble. Now, we all know that they're going to teach us to their level of their understanding, right? So she would literally cut up credit cards and was like, don't get yourself into this trouble. And that stuck with me like through my early adult years. And I was like, I don't want a credit card. If I don't have the cash for it, I'm not touching it. So I was disciplined in that area, right? 2004, I landed a job at a Fortune 500 company. In that particular company, I was making probably like 50,000 at the time at a very young age at 2004, and because I was in sales, so I was doing sales at this particular job, and they end up giving us a credit card. So that was my first credit card that I had. And I'm like, I'm not touching this unless it's an emergency, and that's it. So I was still kind of scared of the credit cards, but I had the credit card. And so then, when you're making a little bit more money, you start to go out and upgrade your lifestyle a little bit. So I had, always wanted at the time a 2004 Honda Accord. So I was like, I'm making this money. When I get out this training class, I'm gonna go ahead and secure this, get this car. So I went to the dealership, saw the car that I wanted in advance, touched and agreed on it, went back, called the people. The day of close, the day that I came out of training, I was like, hey, I'm coming to get this car. Y'all hold it for me.
She sis
So I
say
got
this
out
for
of
me.
training. I went and got a brand new 2004 Honda Accord at the time. Drove off the lot, no mileage, thought I was everything. So at that time, I'm sitting here, I'm calculating. Okay, I'm making this amount of money. I'm gonna make these extra payments to get this debt paid off. I just didn't believe in debt, y'all. So I'm just like, I have to get this off my back. So I pretty much calculated how much it's gonna take me to get this debt paid off. And so during that time, I'm like, boom, whatever that year was. What year was that? I forget now. But I was like, I'm gonna make it my resolution to pay this car off. So they had me like on a 72-month loan. I paid it off in 2 years and 10 months. But that final year, that was my resolution to be like, pay this car off. So I doubled up. I did overtime. I was selling like crazy, and I paid it off. So the next thing was, okay, you got your car paid off. Now, what do you want? So what comes next? A house, right? So me, I'm like, yeah, I want this house, but I want my house built, and I wanted to have a little bit of brick on the front. I wanted 2-story. And so at that time in 2008, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get this house. I was thinking about it, but I wasn't really sure. So I was riding on my auntie one day, and she drove me in this area, and then she was like, oh, it's the new construction over here. Next thing I know, y'all, I was in there. They was pre-qualifying me. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So my aunt was like, you're already paying 700 and something in rent. You can go ahead and afford this mortgage. So I'm like, okay. So I was approved, right? Closing my house January 2008. So January 2008, here I am in this house. Everything is going good. In corporate America, I'm killing it with sales. I got little CDs, 401ks out here. I'm just on a high. I'm traveling here. I'm traveling there. You know, everything was
You
good. But you
balling.
guys know what happened in 2008, right?
Ooh,
What
Yeah.
happened in 2008?
man.
Crash.
Man, crash.
Right. So so the market ended up crashing, right? So here I am. Okay, I just bought the house. There's no equity here. I'm buying it at retail, right? Okay, so I purchased the house. The house at that time was worth like $150,000. It went down to like 120,000.
Oh my God.
But not only that, so this is what happened. So I'm in corporate America, and at this time, you know, with the market going crazy, the banks found bankrupt, everything was going crazy, right? So my job decided that they were going to restructure, and restructuring means we're gonna get rid of some folks. So they end up shutting down the whole building. Okay, Fortune 500 company end up closing completely. People didn't even know to the day of when we got, you know, got to the job. They held a big conference. It was like no more. So at this time,
Damn.
I'm like,
Damn.
mortgage. You understand? Like I just
I
closed
got
on my
bills.
house. Like I have bills to pay. So at this point, you know, everything that I thought about finances was tested. Like I said, I had my 401k. I had CDs, and I didn't have emergency fund account, but I had my credit card. So I was out here trying to find another job at the time. End up securing another job. That job was almost half the income that I was making. So mind you, I was doing sales, right? So the sales made up a large part of my income. So with the new job, there was no sales. So I'm looking at about half the income amount that I was making before, and still with the same mortgage. So within this period, I was literally living paycheck to paycheck with this new job,
I know
right?
that feeling.
So when I say paycheck to paycheck, my credit score shot up because everybody got paid, and I didn't have any money for myself left over. So I literally, y'all, paid every single body on time every single month. Make sure everybody else was straight. I didn't have money for savings. I didn't have money for food, and I didn't have money for gas. So those things had to go on my credit card, right? So at this particular time, I'm like swiping for gas, swiping for car. I mean, you know, swiping for food, things like that. This is starting to pile up now because I'm literally just in this cycle of working just to pay bills. So when I had my house built, everything in my house was furnished on credit for 2 years, no interest, no payments. So I forgot to mention that. So I'm in here with the same mindset of I'm gonna pay all this furniture off like I paid my car off, no problem. But corporate America shut down. I wasn't able to do that. So fast forward, those bills, as far as those furniture bills, now they became due. So now I'm like, dang, now I got this debt on top of this debt, and now it's compounding. But guess what? I was still on social media. I was still traveling. I was still in California. I was in Puerto Rico. I was in Atlanta,
Damn.
and I was so I'm pulling money from my 401k to adjust to the lifestyle that I was accustomed to. Still
Ooh,
shopping,
Ooh,
still
that's keeping it a
traveling, still
real.
looking like I had my life together. And on social media, people looked at me like I want to be like her. I want to do what she's doing. She's here, she's there. But when I got home, it was a gray cloud over my head. I had debt follow me everywhere. So it was almost like an emotional high. I would take a trip, come back home, like, you tripping for real. Because now you have this cycle of debt. You're working just to pay bills. You're in this linear cycle. So something has to change. So in 2013, I went to Atlanta. When I got to Atlanta, I was out there. I had been to California a year, Puerto Rico that year, went to Atlanta, did a road trip. So when I got to Atlanta, I swear to God, when I got to Atlanta, I had went to a celebrity store, got in the store, took a picture in her boutique, and had it in my phone. And when I was in Atlanta and I was sitting in a car, I took like a selfie. And in that selfie, I was like staring I was staring like just into space. And what ended up happening, y'all, when I got back to Greensboro, North Carolina from that road trip, something was like, you better get your stuff together and get your house in order. Like, you need to stop caring about what this image looks like and really get your stuff together. So when I got back from Atlanta, I sat down and I was like, I can't do this. Like I really can't. I ran into a girl in Walmart and she was like, I want to do what I want to be like you. She used to work with me. She's like, I want to be like you because you're killing it and you're doing it. So I was like,
Oh
I
man.
cannot have these people thinking that my life is something other than what it is. And I know that my shit ain't together. Right. So I was like, you have to do something. So what can you do? So at that moment, I was like, you know what? Do whatever you need to do to get yourself out of this debt, pull yourself together. Um, so I said, you know what? This cable has to go. I started figuring out where can I cut back at. My cable had to go. My fingernails had to go. I couldn't go to the hair salon. Um, I really stripped everything down, y'all. And I was like, that's it. Like, now figure out how you can bring in more income. So I went to work part-time in a salon. So I picked up my license after corporate America shut down. I had already finished school, never went to the board because I was comfortable in corporate America, just comfortable. So when the corporate America shut down, I was like, I have to have another plan. Just in case corporate America does this again, I can pick up and I can go make money. So I was out of school, hair school for like 5 years. Corporate America shut down, went in, passed the test after 5 years. And I was like, boom, I'm gonna keep this as a cushion. So I went to work at a salon. But not only that, I said, you know what? That's not good enough. Like, what else can you do? And so I said, you know what? Don't even go shopping for a year, right?
Ooh.
Wow.
365 days, don't
Wow.
go shopping. Only
Ooh.
necessities.
I can relate.
Only necessities. And what I did was to make sure and to hold myself accountable, I went on social media with it. So I went on social media. I'm like 365 days, no shopping challenge. Boom. I didn't go dine out.
Dang.
Um, I declined, my best friend, she was going somewhere. I'm like, look, I can't go. And so sometimes the hardest thing to do is to be real with ourselves. I'm like, I had to check myself. I'm like, you can't go, don't go eat, don't go travel, don't do nothing until you get this debt under control, get your savings up, whatever the case may be. So at this time, my 365 days, I'm still doing the countdown. Now, when I said no shopping, you remember I told you guys that I was in the boutique, right, of the celebrity, not knowing that picture was going to be like a highlight of my last purchase for 365 days. So from that
Wow.
day all the way out, I was like, that was my last purchase. I didn't go into the malls. When I was working at the salon for extra income, I saved all of that money. I had shoes that had holes in them. I had
Oh my
I had
God.
that pop. When I say
Oh my God.
I look like, now if somebody would have met me at that point, they may have assumed that I didn't have my stuff together, but in reality, my stuff was getting back on track.
Hey, you had that
So
reality stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
the social media version.
I'm
Hey.
telling you. So, it was crazy. And and then I had my friend when I went home, she was like, you know what, I'm having a pool party. I'm like, I didn't bring a bathing suit. She's like, girl, go buy one. I was like, I can't do that. I'm on this fast, right? She's like, girl, nobody's gonna know. But I'm like this. If I cheat myself, I can't cheat myself. You understand?
Facts.
So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like I still have this goal that I'm committed to crushing. Long story short, I was able to complete the 365, and I had, like I said, I was tracking it down, months here, increments, whatever, on social media. On Instagram, there was a stripper. What was her name? I don't even know how she picked up my post,
She's a
but
dancer.
she posted it, and she was like, 365 days, no spin, da, 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 da. So it ended up going viral. And it was a person that was on Forbes, and they had came and they asked me to do a story about my 365-day no spend challenge, how I
Wow.
conquered that to pay off my debt. So at the time, my debt was like $10,000 or so. So they was like, we want to hear about the no spend challenge and how you was able to pull yourself out of debt, in 7 months. So I was like, okay, cool. So I gave
Wow.
them, the spiel on that. So that's how the Forbes feature ended up coming about. So y'all, literally, if I never thought to do something different, that would have never went viral. It would never been picked up, in Forbes or whatever. And to me, it was just like, you have to do stuff that other people are not willing to do.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid of that. And so I stuck to my guns. I was able to do that, cleared all debt, put my emergency fund account in place, and started investing like the most I ever invested before by, taking that action. And so during this time, I was also self-educating about the importance of emergency funds, credit card utilization, all of these things. So as I'm going through my journey, I'm also teaching people. I'm like, hey, make sure you have this. Make sure you're watching how much you spend. Because when I tell people like I have a budget, budget, or they're like, oh my God, you're on a budget. But to me, I'm like, it's just a budgeting is telling your money where to go. So I had to start teaching and reprogramming the community on how to look at money management, things like that. So that's when I got into becoming a certified financial educator, teaching others about how to manage this money, making sure they're not in the same position that I was in, and then also to start investing. So yeah, so that's how that part came about.
Wow. So listen, Andrea, I just want to know something though. I want to know something.
Right.
What you did with them shoes with the hole in the bottom? Where them at? I just want to talk about that.
They were ran over, had a hole in it, but the girls at the salon, they were joking me, but they knew, at the time they knew I was on this fast, but they was like, yeah, look at the shoes. But I'm like, I'm not gonna buy no shoes. I don't even really care. Like, I don't care right now because my main goal is to take all this money, put it into savings, and paying off this debt. So they make fun of it.
So are the shoes still in the closet?
The whole of the shoes.
Listen.
No, I threw them away.
You threw them away. Okay. Well, okay.
Listen, Andrel, when I tell you dropped so many gems, the story that you just told, everybody on here, if anything, like I'm talking about, I think what you just talked about, and I'm not going to say is more powerful than real estate, but when you talk, one thing, you talked about just that self-help, but that discipline you had, that's different. That's different. How many people on here honestly can say they will not go shopping for 365 days, right? And the fact that you had that reality check, like that was huge. Like I'm listening to you and I'm like, you know how many IG models and IG women and Twitter women need to hit us today? Because there's so many people that's out here spending their last for an image, and you had that wake up call and you were just like, nah, this ain't it. And now look at you now being a boss. Yo, and for real, big salute to you. That's major.
And it's even more for a woman. And I'm not being sexist, but a dude to go and live under the bridge for a little bit and he ain't gonna worry about it.
For real. That's man, for real, Andrea. When I tell you that right there, like that piece is mind blowing. What you was able to do.
I think we need to talk about it more.
Yeah, like you're different.
Because some people was just like, oh, I could do no shopping, no problem. So they didn't have an issue with not going to the store. So I'm like, okay, well, your issue may not be shopping. Your issue may be eating out every day. Your issue may be going to Starbucks every day. Your issue may be something else, right? But for me, I felt like I had to have something new. I actually had a what did I do? Oh, I had one person. Was it one? I think I had one person that actually completed the 365-day no spend challenge on my Facebook page. And she counted down. She was able to pay down her student debt. So I'm just like, wow. Like she was just committed to doing that. And I'm going to have to reshare her dang on story. But she completed that. And when I saw that, I'm like, dang, continue to be out here, just giving people hope and inspiration. But what I found out is going through this period as well, is that there was a lot of people just like me. There were a lot of people that was out here with this facade, like you got it all together and you don't have your house in order for real. So people started to reach out to me, and I was coaching for free before I started, revamping and doing programs and things like that. So I would coach them. They would call me. I mean, I had 6-figure earners. One person in particular was out of DC. They went to school for finance and they were in debt like crazy and they needed help. So I'm like, dang, here I am. I ain't even making 6 figures coaching a 6-figure person on how to manage money. So I started speaking and taking on seminars and things like that just to kind of, help the community. But for real, I'm just like, it's so many smoke and mirrors out here. You can't believe everything you see on social media. Because these people can be living paycheck to paycheck, and it don't even matter. Like I said, she was 6 figures living paycheck to paycheck. So whether you're making 10,000 or whether you're making 100,000, you still have to manage that money
and be looking great on social media. Ooh.
So you was on your Dave Ramsey. So were you following Dave Ramsey at that point? You was just like had in your head like, I'm not gonna shop for 365 days. Like, where did that come from?
The 365 days was all me, but I did follow Dave Ramsey back then. I know he
Hey,
I
hey.
did. I did follow the 7 baby steps. You know,
Dave say he want his.
Yeah. Shout out Uncle Dave. Man.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I had a total.
You know what?
Total money makeover.
You know what I like about what you said is, a lot of people want to be successful in business and life, but they're not willing to sacrifice. They're not willing to let go of something to grow. So, a lot of us, we all had to let go of something that we enjoy to get to the next level, because a lot of our money and time is going towards that thing that we love that's not really making us money. So I just wanted the listeners to go back and listen to what she said. She enjoyed shopping. She enjoyed traveling. She enjoyed eating out. She enjoyed doing her hair and nails. She let all that go to take a step forward in life and our financial future, and to pay off debt. Who's actually willing to get uncomfortable to go to the next level?
Ooh, that part.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't want to sacrifice. They don't want to have that discipline. And it's like, how bad do you want it? And I actually, at the end of the fast, somebody actually asked me, they was like, do you feel like that was worth it? Like, you don't feel like you were depriving yourself?
100%.
And,
100% worth it. 100% worth it.
Yeah, yes, it was worth it, but it was like, you don't feel like you missed out. And so my response to that was, in that moment, I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. Right? So, no, I didn't miss out on anything, because I'm doing what I want to do right now. This is what I want to do. I do not want to prolong being in debt, being linked to this job and living paycheck to paycheck. So for me, it was like, you either going to do this or you not. You going to prolong living paycheck to paycheck, or you going to turn it around. So that was the ending point of that. And then the finance checks were good, but then I started seeing the real estate starting booming. I was like, we're gonna switch. So I put the real estate on the forefront, put the personal coaching on the back burner, and the real estate stuff just went off. So
wow.
So
Let me ask you this, Andrel.
We need to get on real estate.
Let me ask you this. How were you able to balance, right, being in corporate and then real estate? Talk about that balance.
The balance. Okay, let me say this, because I don't want to sound. I don't want to be biased with this. I work from home. Okay.
Nice.
So, I have somewhat of a flexibility. I've been working from home since 2013 with my corporate job.
Wow.
So
that's
I
luxury.
have flexibility. Yeah, wait a minute. 2000. When did I go to? 2013 I did. It was somewhere around between 2013 and 2016, somewhere between that.
Nice.
But I work from home. Okay. So my corporate job, I don't talk to anyone with my corporate job. So I'm able to talk to sellers. I'm able to be on social media and all of those things with my job. Now, I want to say that because not everyone that has a corporate job is going to have that type of flexibility. And I'm
say maybe 1%, 2%.
Maybe someone that's in corporate America that can't pick up a phone, right? So there also may be somebody that's in corporate America where their job is directly linked to them working, maybe like productivity. So they're not going to have the same capability that I may have working from home, and they're sitting there, they can't pick up the phone, where I can pick up the phone most of the times throughout the day and talk to sellers, right? So I'm going to be a little lenient in regards to that. But one thing that I will say is this: you have to maximize the time on the outside of corporate America. So I may have like a little advantage because I work from home and I can do some other things, run out on lunch break, look at houses or whatever, come back. But on the weekends, you really have to maximize your weekend days, and you have to maximize that time after corporate America. So it's almost like double shifts, right? It's like you really have to work your corporate America, but you can't get off your 9 to 5 and feel like you need to go look at TV, go to sleep, or I'm gonna say take a nap, and just do little crazy stuff at the end of the day. And I tell people, and a lot of people I had to tell this that were close to me, I'm telling them, hey, my day actually begins at 5 o'clock. Because when I get off At 4:30, 5 o'clock, I have to follow up with leads. I have to go see properties, if that's on my agenda for that day. So I have to maximize my 5 to 9 or 5 to 11 or 5 to whenever when I get off. And then on a weekend, I have to really wake up and then I have to get out there and crush it. So that's my thing. So I'm gonna be a little lenient and say, if you're working a 9 to 5 where you're not as flexible to do things during the day, then you want to get out there after your 9 to 5. You're gonna have to really time block. You're gonna have to cut people off. You're gonna have to cut social media off, and you're gonna have to just drill down and be like, listen, I have to do this for me. So sometimes you're gonna have to be selfish. You're gonna have to get those friends that be like, listen, and they'll tell you, I'll cut them off like real quick. I'll cut my friends off, and I'm like, don't talk to me. And even I'm bad with it because I get like that with social media. I'm getting better now, but social media, y'all, I was just getting missing for like 30 days, come back, and I'm like, killed a whole lot of stuff. But I was like, I got to be consistent. So I was like, I would shut things down just to make sure that I am able to leverage both, if you will. So you are going to have to. It's going to take some. It's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some sacrificing to make that happen.
Wow. So what type of real estate investment are you doing now? What would you say is just your primary exit strategy for that?
Wholesaling is going to be my thing. Wholesaling real estate. Also buying and holding using the creative finance strategies on the back end of things. And now I'm moving into communal living. So I just love sourcing my own deals when it comes to real estate. So wholesaling is going to be that thing for me. And then of course, using it to buy my own properties and maximizing the amount of money that I can get under one roof. So that's what's happening.
Talk about that community housing for a little while, because a lot of people, might not know what that is. It might not know how much income it could produce. So can you break that down for us real quick?
That part.
Real quick.
Well, I've actually been interested in a assisted living facility for a while, right?
Me too.
And that's something that kind of piqued my interest. And I was on a webinar a couple years ago, and I was like, this is something that I want to do. And I'm gonna tell you my reason behind that is because my family, right? They're in a different state. Well, not a different state, a different county in North Carolina. And like they're getting older. So I'm like, I can't put them in a nursing home, right? They can't go into a nursing home. I just started thinking about that just long term. And I'm like, I have to do something in the family to where I can create a family structure to where they can still be in the house and cared for, because nobody's going to treat your family like you're going to treat your family. And so that's always been a thought of mine. I'm like, I'm not sending them to the nursing home. And with me, I'm on the go so much, I can't be there. So I need to put something in place, hire family, and have them, in the position to do that. And so in 2019, my mom had a stroke, and her condition changed, right? So she had to go to rehab and everything, but she could no longer do the things that she was able to do prior to the stroke. And now I'm like, oh my God, like she's in the skilled nursing facility now, still trying to, get her arm back right and things like that. So now I'm like, I really have to put this in place, because I don't want her to be just left out there, and not taken care of properly. And then with me, I'm just like, she doesn't want to come here. She's hard-headed. So I'm like, okay, I have to set up one of these facilities back in my hometown, and then, hire family so that way they could come in. So that really just accelerated my idea to go ahead and get something like this started. So then I was like, I done ran into another type of training or program where you can do licensed group homes. So you can really call it whatever you choose to call it. You set it up, you don't have to have a license for it. It's just like shared living spaces, right? You outsource whatever they need. So if they need rehab, if they need the mental health counselor, whatever the case may be, you're not providing those services. So you're going to outsource those services. So you're still able to have this house, rent out these rooms per bed and get your money. So that's why I said you can get multiple streams of income under one roof. You can charge by bed, you can charge by room. And so for me, I need to have a family house set up like that. I have a couple of nurses in the family. I'm going to put them on payroll, and they're going to be in there, and they're going to take care of the family. So,
Ooh, that's a whole generational wealth play, y'all. If y'all listening.
Listen, you get paid per bed. Talking about $500 per month per bed. You got 4 beds in a room. That's $1,000, 2,000. I'm sorry, 600 a bed.
Ooh,
yeah.
In Louisiana, it's 500. So that's 2,400 a room if you got 4 beds.
hey, Airbnb who? Airbnb what? Yo, that is dope.
I'm excited about that just so I can get family in and on board with everything. But like you said, yeah, it's like a generational wealth play. I need to have that set up for my family, and then also on this end, set some things up for some of. I'm still gonna do the same strategy, but it's gonna be a little bit more. It's gonna be a little different than that.
Gotcha. Hey, Andrel, before we let you go, if you have any like mentorship programs, anything that can help the people grow to the next level, could you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so if you are a female and you're listening to this replay, feel free to join the Creating Wealth Society. Make sure you follow me at Andrel.Harris on Instagram. My other page was hacked, so I don't have to swipe up. You guys
we starting over, man. Getting out the mud again.
I'm telling you, yeah, so just click the link in my bio and you can find the Creating Wealth Society there. So feel free to join. And then also, if you're looking for that step-by-step systematic approach to wholesaling, you can click the bio and you're going to see a blueprint. So you can grab that. And if you want something a little bit more in detail than a blueprint, you can get the course. So you can tap into that. And then I'm working on some things as well where I'm tying the personal finance and the real estate wholesale to hold. So make sure you look out for that.
Wow. Yo.
Man, gems dropped. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all learn. Listen, audience, drop some fire signs, man. Drop some gems.
Hit that like
y'all
button.
Gotta put go Andrel. Yeah, man. Y'all gotta go crazy because the queen came, and when I tell you blazed the stage, like y'all should have so many valuable life lessons from this podcast, right? Say it again, Oneil.
Absolutely.
Should have been taking notes. You drop a lot of gems.
Absolutely, man. Listen, man, I'm excited, man. I just want to say thank you. You feel me?
Yeah.
Oh, and I want to say, everybody, if you are listening right now, and you ain't hit that like button, you got stingy energy now. Hit that like button. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want stingy energy. That shit hit you like a disease, and it'll cripple you like cancer when you get older. Don't have that shit now. And hit the like button. You know? Fact.
Hit the like button and hit the follow too. Hit that subscribe.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
So I'm just super thankful that you guys decided to, put me on the platform. So I definitely appreciate that. Y'all are doing amazing. The 3 kings on here. So
appreciate it.
I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I have to go pack.
She back to flying all over the world, people. Look.
Hey, you see, hard work, the sacrifices.
It's catapult,
I can dig it. Well, listen, man. Hey, with that being said, man, I hope y'all got a ton of value. And at the end of the day, guess what? Like I always say, man, I hope to see y'all on the other side of success. You feel me? Because that's where we headed. And if you ain't headed there, then you ain't gonna see where we going. You know what I mean? We headed to a different type of party. You dig?
They missed the bus.
They missed the bus. So I'm gonna see y'all on the other side of success, man. Go out there and kill the rest of your week. And man, peace.
Bye.